Welcome to Worthy of Note, the podcast where one overthinking girlie shares her various musings about the world with the world. I'm your host, Lauren Carlton. Hello, lovely folks. My name is Lauren, and welcome to Worthy of Note. Oh, girl, it's been literally 3 months. 3 months, love. Almost 3 months. Nearly 3 months. Several fortnights. So that's why actually this is going to be season 2 of Worthy of Note. I think I took a little bit of a hiatus, like an unintentional unintentional hiatus, a little sabbatical. Because a lot has happened in the past few months. Actually, I think my last podcast episode went up on February 17th, and the change was on the horizon, let's just say, on that day and during that time. So without further ado, let's go ahead and get into it. I've really missed I've truly missed podcasting, but every single time that I was think about sitting down and doing one, I either would fall asleep immediately or I would just not have the time because I literally had to do other things. Many of those things I will, go ahead and lay out for you right now. So I have a new job. That's numero uno. So I actually have been working at my new position for the past 2 weeks. My first day was April 10th. It's still within the same, university and the system and everything. But I am a social media manager actually, which is super awesome. It's way more up my alley. I formerly was working, as an admissions representative, and I had been working there for several months. It had been about 7, nearly 8 months. When I just, I wanted to do more. Admissions is great. I think it was very much an improvement from where I was before, which was working in an overnight shift in a news market that was top 50 and very, very crime ridden, in terms of shootings and things of that nature. As a soft news girly, that was just not something that I was mentally prepared for, and I just couldn't. It was, the overnight shift. It was a mixture of that. If you all follow me on YouTube at Rinsey, it's probably my latest or the video before my latest video, which was over a year ago now that I posted. I kind of go over everything, a lot of mental health things. And also the last video does describe me or kind of, say, hey, she's moving to XYZ, she's quitting her job. So admissions was much better than that. That being said, I really realized that I needed a job to get me out of that really dark situation where I was at the news station. And, admissions was really the first to kind of reach out and respond. And I do love some parts of it. I do think it's really cool to see the matriculation of students from, all the different grades and grade levels in high school. Sorry if you can hear my upstairs neighbors. I kind of got beef. That's another thing we gonna talk about, okay? Because girl, they're literally all hours of the night. I mean, it's only 8:21, but that's not the point. They literally sound like they're moving furniture and rearranging their living room every night, which how does it feel to have that much time? Number one, how does it feel to have that much energy? Number two, and how does it feel to just be disrupting an entire lower level of an apartment building? yeah. Anyway, I'm not salty about it at all. It's fine. But as I was saying, I definitely really, really loved that part of talking with students and kind of, it's very nostalgic, when you're going to a high school and, you're seeing these students, freshmen, sophomores, all the way through just be teenagers. It's kind of funny. I was at one high school and I was watching this group of boys doing the bottle flip, like with like, where you like literally just flip a bottle, like a plastic one, and you try to land it back on like upright. And they were going wild over that shit whenever somebody got it. And I'm like, wow, things really do never change. Cause we were doing that same shit in my, in my high school. So yeah, I mean, there were parts of it that I really did love. I loved the people. I loved talking to people. But at some point, I just realized I'd asked to do some more, and that wasn't really something that I guess was in the cards in terms of like, assigning me more responsibility, because I got bored, y'all. Like, there were times where I was like literally on cool math for like an extended period of time, because I was like, I've done all the things that I need to do. I've been proactive. I've done all the things I need to do and then some. Like, I was making cheat sheets, for like different colleges and information and stuff. And I was just like, God, what more can a bitch do to like occupy herself? And like, I do think there is a lot of privilege in that, because a lot of people go to work and have to work in super dangerous situations in order to live, and they have to, do several arduous tasks throughout the day, and they don't get to sit in, color or play cool math. So I do recognize that for sure. I just think, at some point I felt my brain going dormant, which really scares me, because I always want to like learn or be developing intelligence in many different forms, whether it's like, actual like book intelligence, education, emotional intelligence, physical intelligence, whatever. All of those use your brain, and I just was not feeling like it was being utilized at all after a while. And I was like, let's look around. Let's take a little walk in the occupational park. And so that's when I kind of, I actually wasn't really looking too actively when former boss that I worked for while I was a student here reached out with this position that I currently work at now. And 2 months later, that's where I'm at, and I am loving it. I feel so much more utilized. I feel more useful. I feel like my brain is like energized every single day, because I'm actively doing something every day. Whether it's writing copy or like reaching out to other people, or for example, one of our alumni was on Jeopardy actually today, the day that I'm filming this, and we could not for the life of us find his picture. We were able to find his like Instagram, at least what we thought it was his Instagram, but it was all private. And so I was like, oh geez. So I found his number, or his, kind of like dug down and reached out to the necessary people to find the number, and then called him, and then we got his picture and we were able to promote it. So it was super awesome. Just stuff like that is, something that's, I don't know, something that really makes me look forward to going to work every day. And I definitely feel like my skills are being used and polished and built through this position. And I love my team. That was one thing that I was really scared of leaving admissions, because it wasn't necessarily anything with the people. I mean, I will say towards the end, probably like the last 2 months, things started getting really cliquey, which, that happens in the workplace. I don't think it was necessarily intentional or there was any like malice behind it. Like, I didn't feel like it was like a bullying sort of clickiness. It was just a matter of like, grouping off together. And, other people were leaving, and those happened to be the people that I felt were the most open to, like, at least at work, stopping by my desk or talking and stuff like that. But really it came to a point where, like, my coworkers really only came to chat with me if they needed something. And even after that, like, they wouldn't really say much to me. So, yeah, got to the point where I wasn't even really very close with them, or as close as I wanted to be with them, which sucks, because that's definitely not how I thought it would go. I think I talked a little bit about this in a previous episode, but I have to, like, keep reminding myself that, like, your coworkers are not always going to be your friends. Like, they're a very easy way to establish work-life balance for a lot of people is not being friends with the people that you work with. I personally don't subscribe to that. I think everybody, like, nobody's safe. Every time I go into a new environment, I'm always seeking connection with people, to whatever extent that gets to, depends on how they react to it, but I'm open to everybody. Like, I'm open to developing friendships with everyone. And, I obviously know not everybody's going to be your best friend, because that's just not, like, possible or realistic, but, like, at least hang out every once in a while, and it sucks because I feel like they did hang out more outside of work, but maybe it was just something that I was not, like, a part of. But anyway, you can only do so much. You can only try so hard. You can only reach out so many times before you're just like, you know what? Maybe this is just not, maybe we're just not rocking, But that kind of propelled me towards a different area of the office, that wasn't, like, my fellow reps. And I really, really loved being over there. I loved talking to the people. We had some really interesting conversations, like a lot about what we talk about on this podcast, like dating, sociology or sociological phenomenons, like all the things, pop culture, loved it. And the people were so great. And a lot of them were, like, student workers too. And it was awesome. Speaking of which, it was so awesome that I ended up dating one of them. Not the student workers. Oh my God. No. Nah. I ain't that girl. Okay, I'm not one of those girls. No. In fact, this person is older than me. But I ended up dating one of them, and 2 months later, I'm currently in a relationship, and girl, you can probably hear me smiling. I am in a relationship. I won't go too deep into it because it's still relatively new, and I also want to keep some things private. Like, I'm an open girl. I'm a talker. Like, I'm going to tell you anything. But, like, it's special. And the people in my life who actively, talk to me and everything, and are in communication with me, like, they know all the details and everything. And I'll just keep it that way because, my boyfriend also is a very private person as well. But he's amazing. And things are going super well. He's super sweet, and we've connected on a lot of different things. And I wasn't even looking for it. And that's the thing. Like, I again, in a previous episode in season 1, which I'm going to start referring to it as season 1, I did mention that I had deleted all the dating apps and was, not dating for a year, at least, committing to not actively looking for anyone romantically for a full year, and spending the energy that I was using on that, no matter how little it was, spending it on other things in my life, whether it's my creative pursuits, whether it is my friendships, but mainly my friendships, like pouring that type of energy and love that I have to give into the people around me, namely my friends. And so I was not looking for it, really. I mean, I I'd always been like, if it did come along organically, that's fantastic. But I'm not going to put myself out there in a way that is like prioritizing it and like pedestalizing it. I don't know if that's a word, but I think it is. Pedestalizing it in my life. And again, as mentioned in a previous episode in season 1, I mentioned briefly that I had shot my shot with somebody on Valentine's Day, and I didn't think that it landed, but it was just a little bit of a boomerang. It wasn't a straight shot, and it landed eventually. It came back to us, which is fantastic. It just took a little while to find its mark. But yeah, I don't know. I would like to think I always thought like, oh, once you get, in a relationship, like, that's something that you've really been desiring for a while. And, maybe a lot of these like insecurities that you've had or shitty experiences that you've had with men will all fall away and not affect you at all, because now you've found a person that really does truly care about you and doesn't only want you for sex and all the things. But lo and behold, we have this thing called trauma, okay, with a capital T, that has just been rearing her really, really, really petty ass head. And the relationship that I have now, it's so vastly different in terms of the emotional stability of the person, how vulnerable we are with each other, and how like communicative and consistently communicative we are with each other, that I basically I've never experienced that before. Not all three of those anyway, in a encounter with any man. And it's just literally my body thinks that it's like a threat, or not even like a threat, but like low-key kind of like a threat. Like my body thinks that it's too good to be true, basically. I have just been so anxious, but not necessarily in the normal anxiety way. I mean, there's a little bit of that, like, because I do have GAD. Hello? Where are my Effexor girlies at? Where are my Effexor venlafaxine generic girlies at who suffer from GAD and desperately need a little bit of help with that? Is it just me? Okay. Sound off in the comments. I know it's not just me. Anyway, but yeah, like I've just been like, oh my God, like I'm just waiting for the other ball to drop, basically, or the other ball. No, the other shoe. I'm assuming it's shoe. Whichever one you prefer, honestly, but just waiting for the hammer to come down, basically, and just thinking like, this is too good to be true. No guy is this kind and this considerate and this in tune and invested in me. Like, there has to be something else. There has to be a red flag somewhere that's like buried underneath the turf. Like, there has to be something. And like a lot of therapy has looked like me kind of unraveling, or my therapist helping me like unravel the really negative paradigm that I have based myself in through dating, through 3 years of dating apps specifically. The last 2 guys that I dated before the current one, like, only wanted me for my body. They only really wanted me, or all the nice things that they said to me or talked about with me were a means to get to me physically. And once they were done with that, like, they were kind of just like, okay, there was like a discard like phase that they went through, and they were just like, I don't need you anymore. And, you know, it kind of made me, I mean, it wasn't just them. Those were two big experiences, but like, you know, again, over these 3 years, it kind of wears a girl out. Like, you know, when you have someone who their first line on a dating app, their opening line, their opening night, is, if my mom had tits like yours, I'd still be breastfeeding. You kind of just your brain kind of just gives up. Like you're kind of wary about some things. Okay. Yes, that is an actual thing that a man said to me, as a first opening line to me. And there have been quite a few egregious, you know, statements that have also been thrown my way. And like, you get tired and you're like, are all guys like this? They must all be like this, or they must only want me for this, or they must think I'm too much. That's another thing that I've worked through, or have been working through, continuing, is like, oh, I'm too much because I'm very sappy. I love romance. I love, you know, the very corny, very, you know, hopeless romantic type of person. Like, that's who I am, you know? And so guys, at least the ones that I've talked to in the past, are like, you care too much. Like, you shouldn't want to be texting me, you know, consistently. Like, you shouldn't need communication. You shouldn't need consistency. Like, we're just on a dating apps. We're young. Let's just be cool. Let's just be cool and casual, you know? And like, not to demonize that, because that is what some people want. Like, some people do want casual. Some people are in seasons of life where they're like, I have a physical need that I need fulfilled, and I'm not really looking for an emotional connection. But that is not me, and that's never been me. And, you know, I think for a long time I was trying to make myself into that person because I was afraid of, you know, rejection, or, you know, being seen as quote unquote too much. And eventually I was just like, you know what, they can go find less if I am too much. I think once I reached that point, like, lo and behold, a few months later, I end up really liking this guy and like seeing something in this person and being like, I'd like to explore that. And by his own admission, if I had not reached out, he wouldn't have taken like not taken an interest, because he told me, he was like, I already thought you were pretty before, which I was like, but he was like, I wasn't gonna actually make a move unless I knew you were actually interested. And so, you know, I was making the move because I was like, listen, what the hell? Like, I'm not on dating apps anymore, but that don't mean I can't see a cute face and a funny personality and, you know, just ignore that. So yes, I'm going to flirt a little bit. And I just thought it was going to become a flirty friendship, but it became a little bit more. And yeah, so we're here. It's been interesting, like, adjusting to like saying, oh, I have a boyfriend, is like, and we only made it official like a few weeks ago, but it's so it makes sense, but it's just like, I have a partner. Like, this is, wow, okay. And I don't foresee that changing. So yeah, I'm really, really grateful. Again, he's such a sweet man. He's like so goofy. He's a little introverted, but like, so I'm definitely the extrovert in the relationship, which, like, judging by this podcast, like, you would know I'm an extrovert through and through. I mean, I do have my moments where I'm like, I need to go sit in a dark room and talk to nobody for about 5 days, you know, five business days. So like, include the weekends. Okay. And so, yeah, I definitely have my moments where I'm like, you know, I can't be doing this shit. There's too much sound, too much noise, too much people. But for the most part, like, I do love people and I love to talk, obviously, and love being around people, especially people that I love. And he is a little bit more, he's not timid in any regard, but he is a little bit more socially introverted, I would say. And so we kind of balance each other out, which is really nice. And it's so endearing to me. Yeah, he can be a little awkward, which again, I can too. So I think it's a really good match. And again, I think it's very endearing. So anyway, yeah, there's that. Very unexpected development. Those are probably the two biggest things, the job and the man, that have been happening. But also probably on the downer note, health-wise, I have been going through some things. I've been having really bad fatigue, and like joint pain lately, like unbearable to the point where I like had to call off work one day because I was just like really not doing well. And I was like nauseous that day too. It was really weird. I don't know. That was a fluke, but like, I mean, not with the joint pain, with the nausea. But like, I was just not doing well at all. I don't know what was going on. But this has been like a trend for like a few months now where I just have like felt really tired, really fatigued, like just not like, again, I was this close, which you can't see me, but like just imagine two little fingers, my index and my thumb, like really basically kissing each other. All right, it's very hot, very sexy, but like imagine them this close together. Okay, this close to not recording this podcast today and putting it off and putting it off and putting it off. And also I should explain another reason I didn't, again, how earlier I said it was an unintentional hiatus. It was very unintentional because I freaking love this. I love this podcast. I love this shit. I love doing it. It's so full. It's so fulfilling too. And I love creating. But I want to say the week after I put up the podcast, even though February 17th was when I posted it, or when I made it, maybe, I don't know. I probably didn't get a chance to like actually post until later, but even if I did post it on the 17th, late February into like all of March was insane, like diabolical in terms of, work. So during that time I was still in admissions, and we do several events for admitted students in various areas and parts of the country. I had to do 3 different ones, one in Chicago, and I also was doing some travel for my own, like not even just like admitted students, but just regular travel to high schools to talk about the admissions process and everything. That same week. That week was a whirlwind. I won't go too into detail with it, but it was a lot happened. It was a lot, obviously a lot of driving, I drove a van for the first time. Like, who am I? Hello. My regular car is basically a clown car. If you want to imagine it, it's pink. So like, I had no business being in that Chrysler Pacifica that doesn't have a regular gear shift and you press a button to go into drive. No, it was kind of nice though. But yeah, it was a whole thing, and I just got very like I worked 124 hours in 2 weeks. So on average, that's 62 hours a week each, which that's not, probably to some people it's like, girl, I be doing that all the time because I gotta live, but like for most people a 40-hour work week is standard. And so I just was like worn out. I had a lot of breakdowns. I was not doing well because when I get super super tired and like exhausted and don't get rest, also coupled with anxiety and traveling a lot and a lot of inconsistency, like it can sometimes be a lot for me, but especially if I have a lot of other things triggering that, which there were at the time. So yeah, just wasn't a great time. March was I also was for this current position, I did have to do 3 different interviews, like on 3 different days. And so that was a lot. That was also a lot of source of stress for me. And yeah, that's why it is currently the last day of April when I'm recording this. But hello, season 2. That's also probably why I figured, I think, I'm like, I knew it was going to be a really long break, so it would just make more sense to make a season 2. And also, I do feel like this is a new season of my life. I'm at a job where I feel like I'm blossoming a lot more and excelling a lot more and feeling more fulfilled. And then, of course, I'm dating someone now, which is very, 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 very different, because I have never dated somebody in a long-term setup at all. So yeah, I figured season 2, here we are, baby. And so yeah, so that's why I forgot to explain why it took so long. But on the downer note, like I said, health-wise haven't been the best. I'm really trying to move more, not for like aesthetic purposes to like lose weight or anything like that. But to, just move my body more and feel more active. Like I get so tired and so sleepy, and it's very hard for me to like want to get up and go do things. And a big part of that probably is the fact that I am sleeping on my couch, because I do not own a bed, which I don't own a bed because I really couldn't afford it for like the last 8 months until like maybe now. But even now, still can't afford it because my car. Remember the clown car that I mentioned earlier? Her name is Frida, and I appreciate her. She gets me from punto A punto B. Okay, but my patience is running a little bit thin with her. So I'm getting several repairs on her next week, which will take up a lot of funds. So that sucks. And yeah, it's been a lot. And so yeah, that hopefully is something that'll improve with time with more movement and, just with better, like, hopefully, support during sleep. About that, I am getting a new apartment, which is very exciting for me because my current one isn't the best, as you've probably been hearing. Loud ass neighbors, which is like something that you could deal with in any apartment complex, but like it's not just the neighbors. I'm sorry. Okay. It's a lot of things. It's the stench. It smells like booty butt garbage all the time in my like not atrium but like hallway, I guess, leading up to my apartment. My apartment it smells fine except for the under sink and like the kitchen sink. It's just a really odd scent. I learned today from my neighbor actually that there's these little like faucets, like little drip faucets. So we have our regular faucet and then we have these little drip faucets that are supposed to be filtered water, but filter where? Because when I used it for the first time, it was cloudy as hell. Like it was literally translucent, damn near opaque. All right. And yeah, I didn't like that. So I've been using my good old Brita filter as per usual for the 8 months that I've lived here. But I learned from my neighbor that if you use the reason why those little, first of all, the cloudiness will go away if you use it more. It's just air bubbles. That's why it's cloudy, but it'll go away. And I'm like, girl, I don't know if I trust that because air ain't supposed to look like that. Air ain't supposed to make a fog. It'll just make bubbles. Like, what you talking about? But it's fine. But she said, also the reason why they're there is because by law it was required for them to be installed in these apartment buildings because these apartment buildings are so dusty, musty, rusty, dusty, and crusty, pusty, and busted that they still have high amounts of lead in the regular tap water. Isn't that lovely? Okay. I I said, pardon? Are you pardon? Why is this place not condemned to the gods? Why? What are we doing? She was like, you could literally die, which I don't know. She's kind of dramatic. So like, I don't know. I mean, I love the drama. As a fellow dramatic person myself, but I don't know how accurate she, but she did kind of get me, because she was like, if you're brushing your teeth with that water, you need to switch to the filtered water. And like, I was like, no, like, I mean, that's the only thing I use the tap water for, is brushing my teeth and washing my dishes. But like, what, like, so I don't think I'm gonna die. And she was like, well, it can be absorbed like through your mouth. And I was like, girl. I was like, you know what? I might take that. I might take that chance. I don't know. I mean, I feel like if it's been 8 months, then I'm probably already feeling the effects of, maybe that's why I've been fatigued. I don't know. I'm not going to spread misinformation on the internet. No, do your research, which I will also do as well. But like, either way, that's one of the many reasons why I'm just like, the latest reason why I just am not having it with this apartment complex. Management isn't the best either. You know, also the biggest reason is the pay, like how much I'm paying. Like when I was working in admissions, which I got a pay raise when I switched to my current position now, which is fantastic. It'll help a lot. But when I was working in admissions, it was literally one full paycheck went to utilities and rent. And it was bad. As some, you know, when you only get 2 paychecks, you know, per month, you know, it's hard to like make that go around to all the rest of your bills. You know, I've got a car payment, I've got car insurance, I've got a phone bill, you know, all the things. And so, yeah, it's overpriced for what you get, which apparently is lead poisoning. So, maybe we can forego that. But yeah, it's just like, I don't know. It's not worth what I'm paying. It also is in a very sketchy area, which, I mean, it's a college town, so it's not like any sketchy area is probably going to be relatively still docile. It's a college town in the Midwest. Let me reiterate. Let me clarify. It's a college town in the Midwest. Okay. And, you know, yeah, there might be crimes here and there, but it's not, you know, you should be fine if you like go check your mail at night or something like that. I don't, though, because there's still some weird ass people out here. And yeah, I just, you know, I want better places for me to be able to walk and not have like beer bottles of glass like on the ground, and like, or cigarettes, or not have it constantly smelling like weed, which for some folks, sure, that's a vibe, but like, nah, not for me. I got a little baby dog. All right. My little doggy, and I can't have him around that. So, yeah, I did find a new apartment, and I'm super excited about it. And yeah, so again, very much newer seasons. It'll be a couple of months, before I move in, because of course my lease has to end first. Which thank God when that day comes. Oh my God. And also I've been waiting to get the bed, because I, you know, live by myself, and I don't really have a lot of manpower necessarily when it comes to moving things. So all the furniture that I have right now was free off of Facebook Marketplace, and it's probably not coming with me, because some of it is like quite broken, or very, very worn down anyway. But it was something that I was desperate for and that I really needed. So like I don't even have very much of it. So I've got a couch, a computer desk, and a coffee table. Oh, and a dining room table that is heavily decorated with the stylings of 2 toddlers who lived in the home that it was previously occupying. Very abstract, I'll say. Love the use of the crayon wax and the not so washable markers. So yeah. yeah, I'm looking forward to moving and having a bed, because what the thing is, I'm just gonna get a bed in a box, and I'm going to um just have it delivered to my new place and set it up there, so I won't have to figure out how to move, a 100-pound mattress somewhere. So anyway, so yeah, there's that. I know I've been talking for a really long time, and I'm actually starting to get a little bit of a headache, which is weird. Again, fatigue. Where's this coming from? I don't appreciate it. But anyway, that about sums up things in terms of life. There's a lot to chew on. There's a lot to nibble. Okay, however way you'd like to consume it. But I am gonna start ending with my Am I the Asshole posts again, because I do really enjoy those and I really love them. And I think they add a lot to the episode. So we're gonna scroll on over to Reddit. The most accurate and, all-knowing platform there is out there. Let's see. Am I the asshole for dumping my date? Okay. I had a first date scheduled with a woman I met on a dating site. We agreed to meet for coffee at 2 p.m. I arrived on time. At 2:10, she texted me and asked if I was at the cafe. I said yes, and she said she was at home, but would leave soon and be there in 20 minutes. Basically, her text implied that she was waiting to make sure I was there before she bothered to leave home. I was put off. I took the risk she wouldn't show and came on time. She should have too. Am I wrong? I finished my coffee and left at 2:30. She still was not there. At 2:45, I get a text from her wanting to know where I was. I said, I finished my coffee and left at 2:30 when you still weren't there as promised. She sent a series of nasty texts telling me how awful I was and how I did everything wrong. I should have texted her and told her I was leaving, etc. Am I the asshole? Do women really expect men to sit and wait 45 minutes for them to arrive late when the only reason they are late is to make you wait? It sure seemed like it was a game or shit test. Either way, she failed my test. I'd sure like to hear from the women on this one. And here you shall. Okay, here you shall. You will hear from this woman. Okay. So my initial thoughts were, what the fuck? And I think my ending thoughts are also going to be what the fuck, but just explained a little bit more. We're just going to elaborate, okay? I think it would be different if she stood you up, if she texted to see if you were at the cafe and then you said yes and then she never responded. That is shitty. Come on, girl, we could do better. Like, I'm usually always on the girl sides, but we could, come on now, we could do better. But like, you don't even know. I think you're inputting a lot of your own projection and your own thinking and thoughts and reasoning onto why she texted you and, why she quote unquote waited until you were there. And I think you can't really say for certain that she was intentionally waiting for you to be there first before she got there. Okay. And like, even like, because she might have just been running late. I mean, granted, she maybe could have said that. I don't know if that was explained. This OP did not mention that she said, hey, I'm running late or anything like that, which again would still be perfectly fine. She doesn't necessarily, again, owe you an explanation for that, because again, like, it's your first date, it's your first impression. If you've been talking, I need more context. I can see if maybe you'd been talking for a really long time and then, randomly she shows this level of, seemingly not wanting to see you or whatever. But again, we don't know if she doesn't want to see you. Like, she's just confirming if you're already there. She probably reached out saying, hey, are you there yet? Maybe I'm running late or whatever. Or maybe she didn't want to say, hey, I'm running late, because she was afraid of what you would think or what you would say, right? Because dating is a very, very, especially like on meeting somebody for the first time on dating apps, it's a very nerve-wracking process for both parties, I'm sure. Like, a lot of people, have a lot of jitters, preconceived notions about the person, how they imagine it's going to go, or whether that's good or bad. So you don't know what was running through her mind. Maybe she genuinely was, running late, or maybe, you know, she wanted to see if you were there first. And here's the thing, as a woman, I can definitely resonate with this. Like I've never done this before, and I don't think I would necessarily plan to do it, because I don't think this is something you plan to do. It just probably just happens, or it's probably not like a common practice for her, but maybe it is. I remember, so my first date ever that I had, me and the guy were like relatively consistent in our communication leading up to the date, and being like, hey, like I'm pulling in, or hey, I'm like about to walk in. And I think that's pretty normal, but I know when I got there, this guy was, you know, punctual as hell, but that's really the only good thing I could say about him, honestly. But like, I arrived at the coffee shop. I wanted to arrive there earlier than he did, because what happens is, if you get there early, you can like kind of suss out the vibes and see what's going on, and you can spot him first, and you can like also just get like your bearings. Like, you're sitting down, you maybe want to make sure you're at a certain table, you want to order your drink first. Maybe she was like, you know, I want to make sure that I pay for the drink or whatever, or I don't know, like if he's already there, like I need to make sure, whatever. Like, she could have a million different reasons, which it doesn't sound like you asked her. It just really sounds like you, again, projected what you think her reasoning was onto the situation. And it says that you left at 2:30 and the date was at 2. 30 minutes. I mean, yeah, that would be frustrating, I would say. But if she said that she was on her way, I immediately would be like, okay, she's on her way. It's fine. She's on her way. I think you're the asshole in general in this situation, but especially for leaving when you knew that she was on her way. Come on. She said she's at home. She said at 2:10 that she was still at home. All right. And would leave soon. So she wasn't leaving right then. She was going to leave soon. Right. And again, maybe she was running late. Maybe something else happened in her life. This was a midday date. This is 2 p.m. She could have been, you know, even if it was a Saturday, she could have had several other different things happening that day, and, you know, whatever. Now, maybe she shouldn't have necessarily agreed to that time if she didn't think that she could, you know, get there on time. But at the same time, things come up, you never know. She might have been having a conversation with her friend, and she's just really shitty at breaking off conversations with people, you know, when she needs to go. Girl, same. Me too. Okay. I would say like OP has a point in terms of like, you should respect other people's time, because, you know, it can be kind of rude if you do it intentionally, which again, we don't know if she was, but either way, you should respect another person's time, right? But OP doesn't even mention that. He just went on this whole thing about, do women expect men to wait? Or he just threw out an entire, you know, generalization of like, is this what women do? Like, why is she expecting me to wait? She sent you a bunch of nasty texts saying like, you could have waited, or you could have, what did she say specifically? I should have texted her and told her I was leaving, which yeah. Here's the thing. When you texted her, or when she texted you, she said she was coming in 20 minutes. Depending on how you responded to her, if you didn't respond to her, she still assumes that you were there, because the last status update that she got from you was at 2:10, and it said that you were at the coffee shop. So she's expecting you to be there when she gets there, right? So you leaving without saying anything, or without indicating that you are leaving, that is standing somebody up. So you stood her up. I'm sorry. Being late to the date is not the same as standing somebody up. That might actually be the title of this episode. I don't know. We'll see. Okay, being late does not equal standing up. Being late is not a great thing to do if you can help it. It's not a great practice to do all the time, but it also happens. And it also, again, is just not the same thing. Especially if it's within the hour. Like, it's not like you guys agreed to meet at 2. She said she was coming in 20 minutes and then she got there as the sun was going down. Like, no, that's not how it happened. Actually, that's not true, Ellen. Okay. I'm sorry. Like, that's That's not how it works. Even if it put you off that much that she was that late, you could still kindly or just at least tell her, hey, I don't like that you did this. I would like to end this. Or, still maybe just stay until she gets there, and, whether she changes your mind about that first impression or not is up to you, but at least give it that chance and let it breathe rather than leaving out of spite, it sounds like. And then making all these generalizations about women. And also, I really hate the way that you are phrasing this. That last line where he said, it sure seems like it was a game or shit test. Either way, she failed my tests. Like, I'm sorry. I really don't like that. That reeks of misogyny. Anyway, I don't know if this is like a hot take or anything. Like, you guys let me know and sound off in the comments if you think, or in the show notes, if you think that it's okay to, leave a restaurant or a coffee shop when you said that you would be there in this situation. Like, I don't know. If it was me, I would at least stay to like see why this person was late or whatnot, whatever. Like, what do you really have to lose other than whatever time you had? If you had something else to do, I get it. But the least you could do is say, hey, I don't want to do this. I'm leaving. Let the person know. Let a bitch know. Communication is everything, even when you're communicating for the last time. Okay? That's literally it. That's all I have for you guys today. I am going to go pop some Aleve liquid gels and take my ass to bed because I'm not feeling the best and I think I just need to go to sleep. But I will be back next week. Really hoping I can get back into the groove of recording and editing and posting because I do love this so much, and I'm really grateful for the people who are still here in my audience and who have been patient enough to wait for an update from me. I am alive. She is alive and she is well. Okay. For the most part. Yeah. But yeah, anyway, I'm going to go ahead and go. But yeah, enjoy spring, enjoy this, the lusciousness of the outdoors. Okay. Enjoy it for me because it's been doing nothing but rain, literal cats and dogs out here. It's been looking like booty butt doo-doo in the sky every single day, and it's just like really not doing well for me. So yeah, enjoy it for me. Enjoy the sunshine for me wherever you are, if there is some. And yeah, I will see you guys next week. Bye-bye.